My God, it is hot today in my bedroom in London. Apologies guys for looking like a sweaty mess. Today's movie that I'm going to be talking about is Eurovision Song Contest, the story of Fire Saga. It's directed by David Dobkin and written by Will Ferrell and Andrew Steele. Apparently, Will Ferrell is a huge fan of Eurovision. Just that fact alone warms my heart that the American comedian is a fan of Eurovision. Apparently, this movie has been his passion project for ages, and you can tell there is definitely some passion for the subject matter. Now, I've got to get something off my chest, guys, and this might come as a shock to some of you, but I, Luke Herfield, proud gay man, do not lose my shit over the Eurovision Song Contest. I know, yes, it's weird, because I love pop music, I love campy stuff, and I love over-the-top theatrics, but for some reason I just never got into the Eurovision Song Contest. I do watch it most years with my friends, but I've never really gotten the hype or the hubbub over it. Although I will admit the Euphoria song was kind of like the anthem to my coming out experience while I was at university. Euphoria, blah, 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 Euphoria. So yeah, when I found out that Will Ferrell was doing a movie about Eurovision, I just thought, what? But I was still keen to see it. So I sat down and watched it last night, and I ended up having a pretty good time with it. I cannot wait to hear what the Eurovision gays of the world have to say about this film, because I don't actually know if it's faithful to all the Eurovision rules. I just watched it as a movie lover, but I really did have a good time with it. It's baka boom boom, baka boom boom. Oh my God, it's so hot in here. Jesus, sorry guys. I can't work in these conditions. Whew. So the plot of Eurovision Song Contest is centered around two friends called Lars and Sigritte. They've been friends since childhood. They've grown up in Iceland. And yeah, they're played by Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams. They have a band called Fire Saga, and they eat, sleep, and breathe Eurovision. Lars' childhood dream was to grow up to be in the Eurovision Song Contest and win it. And by some fluky, jammy twist of fate, they end up representing Iceland at this year's Eurovision Song Contest, which is in Edinburgh. That's right, in Eurovision, the winner of the contest is the country that hosts the very next year. So in the fictional land of this movie, the UK managed to win Eurovision. And for all of you international people out there, the UK always performs shit at the Eurovision Song Contest, because as this movie likes to make fun of, nobody likes the UK and we always get 0 points. It's funny because it's so true. So what did I think of Eurovision Song Contest? I think it's going to split people, this film. I think it's a predictable and formulaic underdog story. I think a lot of Americans aren't going to get it. But this film will definitely have a fan base because it is a lot of fun. And isn't that the whole point of Eurovision? So in that sense, it's very true to its roots. I definitely have my problems with it, but I was certainly entertained. There was no point in this film where I was bored. I enjoyed the two central performances from Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams. They were really cute together. Their Icelandic accents, on the other hand, I don't know if I can comment on it because I've been to Iceland and I don't even know myself what the Icelandic accent sounds like, but just from like my own ears, I felt like Will Ferrell did dip in and out of his Icelandic accent occasionally. But because this movie is so ridiculous, they kind of get a free pass. In fact, pretty much everybody in this movie does a ridiculous accent. I don't think any character in this film, apart from Graham Norton, speaks in their own accent. Dan Stevens plays Russia's entry Alexander Lemtov, and he really does sound like a Russian lion. Pierce Brosnan's in this as Lars' dad, and his Icelandic accent, I swear to God, I thought he was Welsh at one point. So yeah, everybody in this does accents which are either comically off or grossly stereotypical. The humor is very Will Ferrell. It's his brand of man-childishness. He did make me laugh in places, like using a Volvo as a metaphor for his penis. That did make me laugh. But a lot of the jokes that recur do get old quite fast. Like there's this running joke about Lars and Sigritte probably not being brother and sister, but it's a little bit ambiguous. And then there's also this recurring joke about these elves, which a bunch of Icelandic people apparently still pray to. And I'm like, okay. It's just not as funny as, say, Anchorman or Step Brothers. Oh my god, I just looked in the mirror. I look so gross right now. Blech. Honestly, the stuff which made me laugh the most was the stuff which was quintessential Eurovision, like Graham Norton's snarky, bitchy commentary whilst the song contest is going on, or Lars coming onto the stage in a giant hamster wheel. Anywhere else in the world, that would be considered weird, but at Eurovision, it's expected. That, to me, is Eurovision. That's a good thing to tell you guys, though, that this film isn't a satire of Eurovision. It's not making fun of it. It actually really, really loves its subject matter, which to me is a little bit of a missed opportunity for more humor, because you can still satirize something that you love and, you know, pay it respect at the same time. Just look at Enchanted. But it almost feels like Will Ferrell and Andrew Steele were too nice when they wrote the script. And they have an American perspective. They get to look in on it as someone outside of Eurovision and see it for all its bizarre wackiness. But again, they didn't take the opportunity to sort of like make jabs and poke fun of these really weird customs when it comes to this Eurovision Song Contest. Other positives to mention, the costumes are fabulous, all kinds of camp, and the music in this film is great. There are some right bops, including Ya Ya Ding Dong, Volcano Man, and Double Trouble. Yeah, I could dance to those in clubs. And for all the die-hard Eurovision lovers out there are a few cameos from some Eurovision alumni. I won't say who, but there's definitely some recognizable faces. As for negatives, there are a few things which did seem a little bit unnecessary, like the random last-minute forcing of romance between Lars's dad and Sigritte's mom. It just comes out of nowhere. And Demi Lovato's character, Katiana, she keeps popping up in this movie in random scenes, and I wouldn't have minded if it actually was building to something or had some sort of point, but it doesn't go anywhere. Did Demi Lovato's agent demand that she be in at least 5 scenes or something? That's kind of what it feels like when she starts popping up in the scenes later in the movie. It's like, why are you here? What is the point of this? I don't like pointless scenes, especially when you've got a film that definitely feels a bit too long. This film is 2 hours long, so there is clearly stuff that could have been taken out, but they didn't. But having said all that, I was entertained watching this film. It's bizarre, the musical set pieces are a lot of fun, and you can just tell all the actors were having a great time making this film. There is passion behind it. It's just not consistently funny, only sporadically. There will definitely be some people who are just simply not gonna understand what this film is, what it's getting at, why it's the way it is. It is really obtuse to someone that has no knowledge of the Eurovision Song Contest. But on the flip side of that argument, there will definitely be people that will love this film as well because it's so bizarre. I can even see this film developing a cult following someday. Like the real Eurovision, I think this film will be more appreciated with a few drinks in you. I mean, has anyone ever watched Eurovision sober? So let's ask those 3 questions. Firstly, would I watch this again? Yes, it might be dumb and childish, but I still enjoyed myself. It's silly, easy viewing entertainment. Question number 2, do I recommend it for you guys? Sure, it's just fun and it's on Netflix, it's right there on the platform. Not gonna cost you anything. It won't be to everyone's taste, this film, but I do think it's a film that you do need to watch to figure out if it is your taste. The trailer doesn't give you enough flavors to know if you're gonna like this or not. If you're not enjoying yourself after the first 10 minutes, then it's probably not for you. And question number 3, what score do I give it out of 10? It's definitely flawed. It's moderately funny, but fun was had while I was watching it. So I'm gonna give Eurovision Song Contest a score of 6 out of 10. But as always, guys, this is just one bloke's opinion. I want to hear from you guys. Have you seen Eurovision Song Contest? For all you Eurovision lovers out there, what did you make of this film? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it honors the Eurovision Song Contest? Or do you think it pisses all over it? Whatever you think, be sure to let your voice be heard in that comment section down below. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you want more content just like this, don't forget to click subscribe. And if you want to follow me on social media, Twitter or Instagram, it's all in the video description down below. God, I'm so hot and gross. Thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Hinfield, and I'll see you next time.